Hi guys, my name's Alex. I have cerebral palsy. If you're new to the channel, I only try and speak on the social model on disability. I can't speak to medical model on disability because I'm not qualified in any of those fields. Um, but if you quadriplegic due to any kind of spastic reaction at birth, any kind of stroke setting, I welcome you. If you're spinal cord, please enjoy and don't feel too much offended by the language that I do use, because I do try and cross pollinate between spinal cord injury and those of us with those of us with neuro injuries. But unfortunately in this life we're gonna get some miserable people that are here to look up and after us. Um, some of them are going to be plain miserable carers, some of them are going to be plain curmudgeons because of how they've been trained by either your parents or your former caregivers. But unfortunately, that's the nature of the beast. You're going to have to deal with it because it's not like in the movies. It's look. There was a very important book known as Tuesdays with Maury, written by one of the person's caregivers. But unfortunately, when they sometimes make the movies, it's like I've always felt that they have taken the book, in this case, which would have been the manuscript, ripped it in half, and then made it with the half that they prefer. And fine, that's creative license. But in real life, you're gonna have some miserable caregivers that are just gonna be there to do the job. Miserable expressions on their face. You don't know why they took the job in the first place, but everybody needs to survive. So if they have a way to come and get you clean, even though they're the most miserable and constantly in parent mode with you, let them do it. It gets you out the door on a Monday to Friday. Keeps your butt clean, keeps your shoes on your feet, keeps your coffee in your cup, even though they are but miserable or overly evangelical. And you're gonna get those people as well. And I wouldn't even give it a second thought. As long as you out the door, weekends we can work on your Johnny Kalakis and your Kylie Kalakis to come and give you a hand on the weekend to have some fun. But if your Monday to Friday Kira is a miserable bitch or a miserable bastard, let them deal with their own emotions. Remember, having somebody care for you is as as much personally taxing for you as it is for them. So you don't know what emotion you triggering by going on with your life anyway. But sometimes the misery just comes from a place of grace. They can't see a way forward. I mean, I used to travel with a guy by the name of Sean. He also had cerebral palsy, and he ended up working for the school that he also went to. And we would often sit together on the bus. Um, I was one of the most severely disabled students, and so my seat would always be in the front of the bus so the driver could get to me. Anyway, and he would tell me, "You need a good wife one day," and for many people, that is the misnomer, the nomenclature. He needs a good wife, somebody to take care of him, and they can't see a way forward with somebody working as an extension so you can have that meaningful relationship, right? So now you're gonna just need to deal with those miserable carers, even if they don't want to give you the second cup of coffee, even if they don't want to take you to the toilet, even if sometimes you get a miserable carer because you can't afford to pay them. Sometimes it's that aunt or that grandmother. I had a nurse aide on sports days, right? All of our schools, much like the mainstream schools, would get together and have sort of an inter-school sports day at the stadium. The problem with that is the nurses also wanted the day off and just to sit and chill in the stadium with the rest of us that couldn't do the more competitive or more athletic sport. I was a field athlete myself, precision and club throw, all of those I did. But those events were early, and then for the rest of the day you could just sit and chill. So I had this one nurse aide in particular. She would say, and this is the last time I'm taking you to the toilet. And every year, without fail, on the inter-school, as long as I was at school, she would say, this is the last time I will take you to the toilet. Every year. And without fail, I only went once that day. But yeah, sometimes you deal with it because later on, as your position changes, as your income grows, as your worldview changes, because you're moving in a scholastic circle, a college circle, a university circle, you're gonna get the great carers. You're gonna get the carers that's gonna open your beers. You're gonna get the carers that's gonna light your cigarettes for you. You're gonna get the carers that are gonna help you stand up against the wall, you know. But yeah, you're gonna have some miserable carers, and I wish I could give you a positive story, right? Maybe I can, but you're gonna get some miserable carers that's just gonna be there for the money, that's just gonna be there because they're miserable, and I wish there would be a different way, but unfortunately there's not, and unfortunately, um, it's also gonna impact the way other people perceive you. They're gonna they're gonna think you can't go on a date. They're gonna think you can't be independent and successful because that particular carer does not allow for you to be seen, for them to be seen as an extension of you. I wish I had a different message this morning, but sometimes that's the message that comes. Why is this message important? Because let's face it, the first time you're gonna get the dating experience, the life experience of smelling a girl's perfume, first kiss first, that's gonna happen at these days, at these inter-school days. But because of the perception that the carer gives, you will also be perceived as maybe I should go for Mr. Joe able bodied. And I wish I could protect you from that, but unfortunately I can't. Many years later, the same caregiver that would tell me, I'm only taking you to the toilet once, I was at the school. Now, at the school, I could reasonably help myself, in terms of going to the bathroom and so on. Now, this one caregiver in particular, I think she thought she'd built up a sufficient relationship with me. She went into the toilet ahead of me, closed the dividing door, because our bathrooms would have two doors, one door that you go into the chamber and then another small door covering the toilet. That's how big our bathrooms need to be. And she closed the small door and merrily sat down and had a power piss. I could hear everything from the snap of the panties to the sit down on the toilet to the stream. I think the biggest lesson that taught me is how, with time, you can gain the trust of an older woman, and maybe you should, when you start dating, go on a date with some older women, because they have the maturity. They have the maturity to understand that things come with time, guys. Um, but unfortunately, while you're starting out on your Monday to Friday days, on your way to campus, on your way to work, you're gonna have that miserable carer, and there's nothing that I wish I could protect you from it, but unfortunately, that's the way of the world, until you can afford to pay that carer. Then you're gonna have that miserable carer. Sorry for the camera angle, but I needed the outdoor space because I'm wanting to get these videos out as fast as I can script them. But that's where I'm gonna leave it, guys. Develop a thicker skin. It's only gonna serve you well in the future. And carers, they are transient workers. You're going to find that as your needs change, you're gonna need new carers and different carers with different personality temperaments. I know this because we had a teacher at school that also was a quadriplegic, and I asked this carer that works with him during the day in the office, so do you go in the morning and you dress him? He says no, his mother dresses him in the morning. So different carers do different things, guys. It's gonna be up to you whether you can stomach the miserable carer on that particular day. And that's where I'm gonna leave it. Please don't be afraid to leave me some comments. Yeah,